I broke my back.
What do you mean by that? You broke
my back is broken.
What do you mean, calm it down? It's a fight. Referees telling two fighters who want to fight to calm it down. He should calm down.
So he's like a clown in his show, man. He's not your guy.
Because Tyson Fury's back, and all you motherfuckers are under attack.
Look, Eddie Hearn can say all what he likes. Who gives a shit what Eddie Hearn says? It's garbage.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
Can you let me retire and be happy? Please? Just please.
Bombs away from the Bronx Bomber!
Wanda! Let's go, baby! Let's go!
I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You not shit.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
I got dropped, man.
Are you kidding?
No, you won the fight.
OMG, I am so excited.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up? What is up, MCR family? Another daily edition of the show live on YouTube. Smash that like button, share the show, subscribe. If you're listening on podcast form, drop that 5-star review and leave a review. Write it out. I'm going to read it on the show live. Obviously, it's actually our second show of the day. Shouts to MCR, right? Come on. Definitely go join patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. And of course, it wouldn't be a boxing show if I was not joined by the lovely, the great Mr. Robert Hearns himself, second cousin of Edward, twice removed. Robert, how you doing?
That noise did not come out of my mouth. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, lots of possibly massive news, possibly not massive news. We'll talk about it, but yeah, Canelo Triple G3, maybe. Are we getting that anytime soon? But obviously, then that alludes to Triple G. Is he joining DAZN? That also is looking on the cards. We've got, what else have we got? Just PBC, big UK TV network deal, which is great for UK boxing fans. Make life a lot easier. No Box Nation subscription needed. Just nice ITV for everybody. Yeah, lots of little bits and pieces. So yeah, we thought, why not come back, do another show with some boxing this time.
And also, though, we do have some MMA news to discuss in the second half of the show, so Rob will leave us probably partway through. He might stay. I don't know. Rob can do whatever he wants. But we will talk about, obviously, one championship in their Turner Media landmark deal. That's pretty big for an Asian MMA promotion. I want to say it's really the first time an Asian MMA promotion has had a major TV deal of any sort in the U.S., so salute to them, and obviously just delve more into other topics in the combat sports world in the second half of the show. But if you want to call in at any point, call in 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. If you are international, email me, mixedcombatradio@gmail.com to get a free international permanent call-in link. But yes, let's get to, obviously, the news of the day, which shout out to my fellow co-host over at the Boxing Voice, Mike, with his Mic Check Hook morning show, interviewing Ak from Ak and Barack. Really, I would say, kind of saying what we all thought, but adding more to it. Going on to say basically that the negotiations for Canelo vs. Triple G3 are going, and claims to that Triple G will be going to DAZN, and that announcement is soon. Definitely go check out the show on YouTube at the Boxing Voice. Before we step into more news we've heard coming out just right before the show started, Rob, let's just first deal with this. Actually, I'll add to it because we do have more information about it that is relevant.
Yeah, Steve.
Yes. First, though, the actual sort of commission note says that Golden Boy and Triple G Promotions promote a professional boxing event at the T-Mobile Arena for May 4th. This is their hold on the T-Mobile Arena for that date. They put down a upfront in advance, basically, to hold the venue. On top of that, like you said, Steve Kim has come out and basically said that this is not necessarily that the fight's going to happen, that Triple G versus Canelo 3 is going to happen, but more so Oscar and Canelo holding off and locking down that date and venue away from a Mayweather-Pacquiao rematch potentially, which I think has a lot of logical merit to it. But all that basically together, Rob, what's your thought about this? That basically Canelo versus Triple G 3 has some possibility of happening next year within the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's maybe a lot of people felt the draw was the wrong decision and that the Triple G loss was the wrong decision. So I think in a lot of people's mind, they'd like Triple G to get another shot. Now, there's just, for me, there's just, I don't know whether a lot of sort of conflicting, you know, kind of things we're hearing all the time. Like, apparently when I think it was Mike Coppinger reported that Eddie Hearn had gone over with John Skipper to try and, you know, either up the offer or, you know, try and convince Triple G to sign over to DAZN, that word came from that Triple G just wasn't really interested in Canelo because he doesn't get a fair shake. And I think there were reports of if it did happen, he doesn't want it to be in Vegas because he feels he doesn't get a fair shake in Vegas. But now we're seeing it's sort of been pre-booked. And like you said, whether that's something in it that negotiations, as Ak maybe alluded to, are happening, or that, you know, it's just a precaution, you know, just in case we can get it, you know. But yeah, I mean, again, also conflicting reports that ESPN or PBC may be ahead, you know, in the run-in with against DAZN on this one. So I don't know, but obviously I'd personally like to see a third one. You know, I'm one of the people that felt Triple G's been on the wrong end of a couple of bad decisions in these two fights.
But Rob, would you want it right now? Does right now make the most sense? You know,
no, I think if we get to a little bit more news,
should we go to that now then? All right, we can go to that now. Keith Idek reporting, and we don't have the press release yet, but we will be getting that hopefully soon in this show or the next show. Keith Idek reporting that at Matchroom Boxing just announced a press release about Daniel Jacobs wanting the Canelo fight next. Eddie Hearn clearly trying to get ahead of the probable Golden Boy post-fight push for Canelo versus David Lemieux on May 4th. So we now have 3 different fights sort of being alluded to for this date, right? We have the proposed obvious Canelo versus Triple G, because Triple G Promotions and Golden Boy Promotions have that venue and that date on lock. It's not like it's just Golden Boy. Triple G Promotions is part of that deal in a sense right now at this point. On top of that, Keith Idek reporting, and per the press release, that Daniel Jacobs wants that date, obviously for with Canelo fight, and he's on top of that saying that Golden Boy really wants the David Lemieux fight, which we've all thought was going to happen at some point in the past 2 years, but it seems to not be happening for some reason. Rob, thoughts on this? Because now it seems to be all over the place. When the news just came out that it was Triple G, it was easier to sort of tackle, but now it's David Lemieux. Now it's Daniel Jacobs wanting the fight. Is it just the Canelo sweepstakes, like the old Mayweather days, where Mayweather would have, 3 or 2 names that he would mention all the time, and he put, Twitter polls up? Is it just another version of that era, but with Canelo now in the middleweight division?
Yeah, I don't know. It's obviously this massive deal that Canelo signed. He's got, the 11 fights? 10 after the Rocky Fielding, but I think everyone just wants to try and get some of that Canelo money. I know, obviously, pay-per-view isn't attached anymore, but yeah, I think everyone wants. It's similar to how we found it with the Joshua thing. If we can make the Joshua fight, do I necessarily win that fight? Probably not, but it's going to be my biggest payday. So, Keith Idek, in response to some people, has said, I think Canelo Golovkin 3 takes place in September. Canelo fights Lemieux on May the 4th. and it would leave Jacobs to decide whether to take lesser fights for big money on DAZN while waiting for Golovkin rematch or a shot at Canelo money, or go back to PBC or sign with Top Rank and ESPN. So there's just so much up in the air right now.
And on top of that, very quickly, just to add to it, Demetrius Andrade, obviously with his legal issues right now, God knows what he is, his sort of immediate next, 12, 18 months looks like. We don't know. Just a lot up in the air. Sorry, Rob, continue.
Sorry. In regards to the Demetrius Andrade, his situation, believe Eddie Hearn in an interview, he said, I don't want to talk about too much because obviously there's legal teams involved in this and the other, but he alluded to, he's sort of been informed that Andrade does actually have a permit for that weapon. He just didn't have the permit on him. So again, we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. But yeah, like I say, we sort of had this news come in originally about, the venue all booked and sort of the talks, and then the AC interview, with Mike at the Boxing Voice, kind of strengthened that, regarding negotiations and the Triple G announcement soon. How much AC really knows about, the actual dealings, we don't know, but now all this other stuff's come in, and Eddie Hearn wants the Jacobs Canelo fight. He's trying to jump in there. It's just all. And
correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Be ringside on Saturday night. Yeah, so
I was just about to ask that. I think Jacobs, and there's several names. I think it's Jacobs and isn't Triple G going to be ringside? I believe as well. There's going to be multiple people ringside that want that fight.
I think, again, I don't think everyone just wants a chunk of that Canelo money and what it comes along with. Obviously, it could all go pretty pear-shaped if Rocky Fielding causes the upset, but
that's not likely to happen.
Live the dream, Matt. Come on, Rocky. His name's Rocky. Come on.
Yo, I'm sorry, Rocky. You got dropped and put out by Callum Smith in one round. Canelo's gonna put you out.
Well, let's just see. He's obviously living the dream. What a great spot. His career's just suddenly taken an absolute huge turn, and good luck to him.
I actually want quick little rabbit hole, side street of topics here. The Canelo Rocky Fielding fight. What's the temperature like over there in the UK for this fight? Is there any temperature for it? Is there any buzz for it at all? Because right now in the US, I think part of it obviously is due to the opponent, Rocky Fielding. No, he's not known in the U.S. at all. He's not recognized as a legit threat. And plus, obviously, the DAZN app, I think, hinders, their awareness of the fight in some level. There doesn't seem to be a lot of hype for this one due to those two major factors. What's it like over there because it's a UK guy?
Well, just on what you said, I've seen quite a few tweets and, social media posts that saying, "Oh, it's Canelo fight week." And it just doesn't feel the same, And someone done it almost like, is it because of the dance partner? Is it because it's on DAZN? Obviously this would have had some HBO promotion behind it. You probably would have had a 24/7. I know DAZN are trying their own kind of 24/7, but obviously they're a kind of fleggling company, and
they're a new company. It's a new company. HBO has been around for 4+ decades.
Yeah. 24/7. I'm sure somewhere down the line it's won awards and or whatever.
I'm pretty sure it's won some Emmys.
Yeah. So DAZN trying to do their thing. I actually watched part one because, like you said, it's on. It's actually on their YouTube channel as well.
How was it? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I'm a fan of it. We don't necessarily get that here. Maybe a little bit, but around the big fights we get sort of 30-minute things and this, that, and the other. But I did enjoy
quickly. How can you watch this fight in the UK?
It's on Sky Sports.
Sky Sports, okay.
Yeah, it's on Sky Sports. So DAZN is on Sky Sports. So although I think that initially there was a little confusion because this is obviously a Golden Boy, but I think because Eddie Hearn, it's almost co-promoted.
Yeah. That I assumed it was Sky because Eddie Hearn is co-promoting it, and that's his market.
So going forward, I'm not sure what the Golden Boy cards. I don't know if that's been clarified. Maybe someone in the chat knows a little bit more about it. I haven't seen or read anything.
I haven't either. I'm curious about that.
Golden Boy cards for UK, obviously viewers. But
if Eddie's smart, he probably figured out a deal with Oscar and mediate.
I'm sure
there's some sort of relationship between Sky and DAZN in some aspect.
Yeah. But as far as Canelo and Fielding, I think there's a bit of buzz for it. I mean, I used to have this argument with a few people. Unless you're a hardcore, no one like Canelo isn't big here, really. I don't feel. I don't think there's a massive swathe of support for Canelo, or that he's this massive global star. I think he's obviously the big thing in America, and Joshua's the big thing here. And obviously now, we'll see what can happen with, like, I don't know, Fury and people like that. But yeah.
And also quickly, just like there's no real like Mexican history in the UK. Like from just from like a population standpoint, like that just isn't a culture and an ethnic group that really translates to the UK the same way as African Americans, because there's black people in the UK too. Like it's just a little bit different.
Yeah. So yeah, there is buzz. I mean, obviously, nice purist sort of boxing fans, they know who Rocky Fielding is, but maybe the casual doesn't know who Rocky Fielding is. So again, for maybe the casuals, which I guess a lot of Canelo fights have drawn in because it's Canelo, it's a big, I want to see that. I've heard the name Canelo and Triple G maybe. So obviously in the States, it pulled in big pay-per-view numbers, but here, I guess to casuals, Rocky Fielding is somebody they don't know, and Canelo, to a point, isn't someone they know. So I'm not saying people are gonna be staying up in the early hours, by the millions to watch Canelo and Rocky Fielding. But if you're in the boxing bubble, you know about this fight, and you're sort of maybe looking forward to it and sort of intrigued. I think the general consensus is obviously, yes, there's a size difference, and Rocky's going to have to use that size difference. But the general feeling is that, good luck to him. But Canelo's obviously the pound for pound fighter in this case. And Rocky just riding the way how this career change has just happened for him. So, good luck to him.
There seems to be a misunderstanding in the chat. I'm a kid and Main Event Mark echoing that thought that the deal was only for Canelo on Golden Boy cards for DAZN. The other Golden Boy fights are on Facebook. That is not true. Golden Boy has 10 events, I believe, per year they have to fill out for DAZN. That can be separate from their Facebook deal, of course, but it's 10 events per year on DAZN. And on top of that, they have a 10-fight deal with Canelo. Those are separate 10-fight dealings. I hope people understand that. It's not going to be Canelo fighting each one of those events in 10 events per year. I'm assuming Ray Vargas would be on DAZN in some capacity. I'm assuming Munguia will probably be on DAZN in some capacity, as Eric Gomez has reiterated over and over again that they have a semi-contract with Munguia of some sort. So
that's why I think they'll be desperate to hang on to Munguia, with the interest from PBC. I think they might have to try and throw Munguia quite a good.
Munguia, and people like Munguia that are like that top 4, top 5 guy in the division that you need to fill out cards, you need to main events, and you need to be B-sides for your big fights. Those guys can get paid a lot more than their market value in this era. Those guys are going to win out probably more than anyone. Obviously, other than the really high people like Canelo and AJ, they're obviously going to get a lot of money in this sort of climate. And Gary's saying Texas used to be part of Mexico. # facts. Remember the Alamo. Thank you, Professor Gary. That's always I love history lessons.
The Golden Boy as kind of like sometimes like a Frank Warren card. Like they're going to bring out Dubois. They're going to bring out Anthony Yard. It's they haven't got the huge stable where they're gonna make it a real variety for these 10 cards. Going forward, is you maybe going to see Munguia quite sort of regular. I don't know.
Expect this. Munguia is probably going to main event 2 to 3 cards a year. Canelo's going to main event 2 to 3 cards a year. Probably more like 3 now with this deal. It looks like. And the way the Rocky Fielding fight was added on, it seems like that seems to be what they want to do. Ray Vargas can main event another 3 cards a year. So you got about nine events there total of main events. 1 extra you need to find out. That's a Ryan Garcia. You know, and on top of that, it's not official, but all industry sources that I have say that the Facebook deal is like that's basically over. Like the second Golden Boy signed this deal with DAZN, it was a sign that they're going to move away from Facebook. They're just not going to make as much money on Facebook as they are on DAZN. It's just the God honest truth. But else, we got down a huge rabbit hole, so I don't know what we're really talking about now. But you want to head, since we're talking about deals and all that, you want to head to this PBC huge, massive deal with ITV, man. I gotta admit, when I saw this, I was legitimately surprised that it's 15 televised events each year for PBC on ITV. I think this is a very smart move. Obviously, ITV has been wanting to invest in boxing for about a couple years now, I would say. They've shown interest in it. Frank Warren aligned himself with BT Sports. Obviously, Eddie and Matchroom are never going to leave Sky Sports in any time soon. That's just not going to happen. So ITV needed some sort of properties. They needed some content to have. And PBC, I think, is a great option, obviously, with the amount of fighters they have. And plus gives them another big piece in the chessboard to compete with Sky Sports and BT Sports in some capacity. But, Rob, I want to hear your thoughts on this, since obviously you're from the UK and everything.
Yeah, no, I'm really pleased. Obviously, ITV is free TV over here. And we're going to get, the Errol Spence cards. We're going to, or, I know they've mentioned ITV box office fights, but I'm wondering whether they're going to be the big US ones at the same, to run alongside, maybe whether it's Fox. I'd be interested to see whether these are like purely the Showtime fights, or there's going to be a mixture of Fox and Showtime fights. But either way, if we're getting these, PBC cards over in the UK on free TV, that's, great news. I'd just be interested as to, I don't know whether this is going to be some kind of issue, regarding Wilder Fury negotiations, because obviously there's BT and now ITV. I don't know if it's going to be an issue of any kind, because that's obviously Deontay Wilder is now Showtime / ITV, just like Joshua's Sky / DAZN. I don't know whether that's going to be a potential hiccup in negotiations, or whether it's, all going to be fine, and, BT are going to have the rights because Fury's with BT. I don't know. Or whether ITV and BT get into some kind of almost bidding war for the UK rights, but I don't know whether ITV will have that big budget for it. But I personally really happy with it, but I just wondered if that's got some kind of question mark to put over it.
I think the Wilder fight is separate from it, obviously, because that deal with Fury can be separate. Just like, for example, Wilder doesn't have a deal with ITV. Wilder doesn't have a deal with Showtime. He doesn't have a deal with Fox. PBC does, right? That's always the loophole to make these fights cross network platforms, that these fighters are not really signed to the networks. Their promotional companies are. And that's, again, the legal loophole you can have. On top of that, I think, like you said, it's free to air. Linear TV, as we call it over here in the U.S. I think that's a great move, honestly. Again, I think I basically agree with everything you've said. There's really no debate to have with this. It's a good move. Like, there's no way this could be a bad move in any capacity. It's just more boxing for more fans. Let's get a little bit into the rumored card, though, because I've seen, not a report, more like a rumors, ideas being floated out by journalists in the media. Obviously, the Eubank James DeGale fight's been talked about forever. Rob, I see you shake your head. It's okay, man. It's okay.
I'm good. If that's ITV box office, they will not be getting my money.
What about this? With the co-main event of Luis Ortiz versus Joe Joyce. Come on, huh? Nothing?
I would like to watch that fight. I don't know if I'm going to pay to watch that fight, but I think obviously at some point going forward, Joe Joyce is going to be like the UK face of PBC, but I don't think he's ready for ITV box office. But if he's on, free UK TV, and we get to see more of his journey as he goes up the rankings. But I also saw that Lee Selby could be a part of that as well, and I think he wants to make the jump back up or move up. But I've seen a little bit of traction. The fact that Lee Selby will be involved.
Move up to 130 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Saw that he was drained for the Warrington fight, and he, didn't come in particularly healthy. And I think he even said post-fight that he'll be moving up now. So, yeah.
And quickly for people listening, this doesn't necessarily mean 15 fight events in the UK, just televised. So this should probably be simulcast between whether it's Fox and ITV or Showtime and ITV. That's how it's going to be done, obviously, for the PBC stable. So, expect, again, 4 a.m. events, 4 a.m. shows. I'm not expecting a lot of UK events held by PBC. Again, you might see the Joe Joyce be put as a main event in small venues over there. James Gale, Chris Eubank, those sort of names you might see. But don't shake your head too much, Rob. It still can sell tickets. So, unfortunately, it is still relevant in some capacity just from a drawing perspective. Other than that, though, expect, again, these to be U.S.-based events, simulcasts, to ITV, just like DAZN and Sky and their relationship is right now, how they simulcast events. Rob, just so you know, I know that you can't see me on your end, okay? We can address it right now. Because every time I've tried, the encoding software gets overloaded, and that's when it gets all glitchy, laggy on the actual stream. I need to go in and fix my encoder settings to try to deal with that later. I'm sorry, Rob. You can deal with it, okay? The people can see me. The people can see you. It's okay.
Okay, I'll try and rehinge.
I'm so glad that is now part of the MCR vernacular is hinged.
Hinged is going to be my digressing.
Yes. That's so amazing. That makes me so happy. What doesn't make me happy is that Rob wanted to talk about this bullshit topic. Deontay Wilder went obviously on the Joe Rogan podcast. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was yesterday, right? And said that Anthony Joshua and his team are, quote, begging for the fight. Rob, I mean, you put this in the chat. You wanted to talk about this, so Rob, you can.
I was just raising topics, I'm trying to fill the topic list.
Hey, you can talk about it, man. Here's your topic.
No, for me, I mean, I quote tweeted it at Eddie Hearn. Please make the Tyson Fury fight for April. If you think, and it said someone like Deontay laughs and says they're begging for the fight. Well, let's see who's laughing when you've got Dominic Breazeale not on pay-per-view, and we're doing 100,000. Joshua and Fury maybe. So Eddie Hearn, please make the Fury fight, and then let's see who's laughing. But I just find it a little bit. Obviously, Wilder's still on this kind of almost like media tour, and he's like on a lap of honor from a draw. I don't know.
They both are, like, to fair. Like, they both did media tours.
Fury's back home,
But he did a media tour. Like, he did do a media circuit. You can't scoff. I see you scoffing.
Scoffing.
Okay, but maybe Wilder's is longer. But
yeah,
but Fury had a longer media circuit pre-fight. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of actual media appearances, they probably are equal.
Yeah, because they had to try and sell it.
Yeah, and I think they have to sell the rematch. Like, the part of doing a post-fight media tour is to sell the rematch. So I have no issue with that, especially when the rematch isn't until April, May, June, around that time. It's not like it's going to cut into actual training camp. These fighters take 10-week training camp. That's all they really need.
Well, Well, if Wilder wants to get to 245, I don't think he needs a training camp.
Obviously, he smoked a shit ton of weed with Joe Rogan before the show, and before he went and did all these media circuits. I don't blame him. Vada doesn't test for weed out of camp, so he's fine to do it.
Yeah, I mean, Rogan annoys me. I'm sorry, but he'll say whatever the person sat in front of him is, whoever it is. He switches and changes his. When it was Fury there, he was all over Fury, and then it was Wilder's there, and he's all over. I don't know. Keep the same energy.
I'm not going to say anything about Joe Rogan because my opinions about Joe Rogan are very obvious. I don't really agree with a lot of his views and a lot of his guest choices, but it's not my show, so I don't care. What it is though is a big platform. So for Wilder Fury, I accept it. I deal with it.
Yeah. But quickly back to the ITV
thing. Digressing.
Yeah. But I know I will probably become unhinged at this point because if ITV are listening, if in any way, shape, or form Piers Morgan is involved with this fucking boxing, consider me never tuning in because
I hate Piers Morgan.
Again, keeping that same energy. About a week before Tyson Fury was on the show, he said some bullshit like people should get over if mental illness doesn't exist, just get over it. And then he had Tyson Fury on there saying, "Oh, what you've been through, and and you're an advocate now for mental illness." I was like, "Yeah, But anyway, just because he's here on ITV, I hope in some way he's not brought into any kind of boxing because he seems to show an interest in boxing. I don't know if that was just because Fury was there, but
yeah, I agree. Fuck Piers Morgan. He is much worse than Joe Rogan. Like Joe Rogan, occasionally have a good thought because he occasionally have a good guest. And he just echoes what they say, right? But Piers Morgan is just literally a shit stain on humanity. So,
let me give you an air horn.
And turn your air horns down.
Okay.
But digressing back to Wilder, Joshua, the whole shit. I just love how Eddie and Wilder are still sniping at each other. It is like a broke up couple that are still bickering at each other on Twitter. And I low-key love it. I'm here for all the pettiness. Eddie Hearn continuing to say that the pay-per-view was awful, even after people have checked him on it, is hilarious. I love it because it pisses people off.
I think...
Wilder, very quickly, Wilder's saying that AJ's begging for the fight. I love it. Why? Because it pisses people off.
Yeah, it low-key got me pissed off. But
maybe not you, obviously. But I mean, there's the more diehard AJ fanboys. They're gonna be like, "Oh, what is Wilder talking about? Begging? Ha ha ha! You can go fight Fury. Ha ha ha!"
Yeah, well, I did. Like I say, I did actually quote tweet it. Eddie Hearn, please make the Fury fight with Joshua.
Yeah, you were just a little bit salty. You weren't super.
Yeah. I mean, look,
that UK salt.
I guess. Having sent topics galore now for I don't know, over a year, I guess I can see them for what they are. Well, and I think as well, where people confuse me for an Eddie Hearn fanboy, I think I just like the guy because I can quite often honestly see a little bit of myself in it because I know when he said the other day that the pay-per-view buys were terrible, I just knew he was basically poking the bear. He was just waiting for that reaction. And I've seen a whole heap of YouTube stuff of people trying to explain to the viewers or their watchers or whatever that Eddie Hearn's full of shit and how can he say that? And then I think it's just the reaction that he exactly wanted, and I think he just sits back laughing to himself when he sees the fallout of the stuff that comes out of his mouth. So, but yeah, this whole Wilder Joshua. It is gonna. I know it's kind of peaked up again because of what happened with the Wilder Fury, but until something gets made, I'm sure we'll do more reports on it because stuff will come out. But hit me up when it's made. It's just too much back and forth now. But in the words of the great man, it is what it is.
And you just I think you've come to the point because you've been in the game for enough where it's it's all talk, it's all PR, it's all a grandstanding, soapbox. Hey, my guy's better than yours. You are shitty, And it's all to sell tickets. It's all to get you to watch the fight. That's really what it is. You know, I don't take it personal. I don't get upset when promoters talk shit and when they lie, because everyone does it, and it's my job to tell the fans that they're lying. And I'm okay with that role. I'm okay with being the one being, hey, it's just PR. Like, understand that at the end of the day. Like, this is not real beef. This is not real talking points about pay-per-view buys and which ones are terrible. No, it's just talking. It is literally just getting up there to talk.
I mean, it's literally like they come out 325 or 320,000 pay-per-view buys, and, you know, they're all happy saying, oh, this has done really well. You know, his first pay-per-view, this, that, and the other.
Hold on 1 second, Rob, because I want to test Blog Talk, and we have Fu out on here to test it. Fugatti, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Okay, bye, Fugatti, bye.
Thank you. Fugatti. Cheers for that.
Yeah,
Great call.
We voted and we kicked you out.
Great call. Yeah,
but very quickly, because some people have been told that Blog Talk is not working, that it's like it went under, like numbers don't work anymore. It does. We just proved it. 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. If you are international, email me, mixedcombatradio@gmail.com to get a free international permanent call-in link. Fat Apples, Potential Lunatic, Rob Gotti, email me. I think Rob Gotti has a link, but email me. I want some UK listeners to call in and talk about the ITV deal, especially. I want to hear you guys' perception on that, especially since, let's be honest, the UK fan base has been galvanized to be a little bit anti-PBC Al Heyman lately. I'm curious what their perception is on this deal of them getting a lot of PBC content out of nowhere.
Yeah, but no, to quickly finish it, when, you know, BBC or Showtime side or Wilder side, you know, very happy with the numbers. I don't think, did anyone expect Eddie Hearn to say, wow, what a fantastic job you all done. That is unbelievable numbers. Do you know what? I think you deserve 60-40 in the negotiations with Joshua. No, he goes, what? That's terrible. Dillian White and Parker done 400,000. You know, Joshua on his debut done 420,000 against Dillian White. It's just on his pay-per-view debut. So he was never going to give them a huge pat on the back and say, God, we're really going to have to up the money this time. You know, it's all, you think you've done great, we'll shoot you down. There's no problem. And but yeah, it's all smoke, mirrors, bitching, pettiness. It's great. But
Big Nick in the chat saying you need to get Skype, Matt. We are working on that, though. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Skype and how it doesn't really give me a lot of control on your calls. This link that you can get is permanent. You can access it via your phone, laptop, tablet, whatever it is. And it's free. It's just like Skype. It's no issue. It's just through a Wi-Fi connection or internet connection. That's all you need. And again, your sound quality is just as good, if not better, than Skype. And again, it's permanent. Once you have this link, save it. It's always there. You can always go to it, and it's very easy. And plus, you get like 30 minutes of pre-show where I just play music, and Rob loves it. So you must love it too. Let's be honest. But anyways, that's actually it technically for our boxing topics of the day.
Wait, what? No, you can't be. Don't say that.
It is. We are moving over to MMA. Rob, are you going to stay on and just hang out? I know it's late for you. You can leave. It's okay. I won't be mad.
Well, I was just going to say, I know you're going to bring up the one championship. No, who was it? Some kind of Turner.
Very quickly, because I'm obviously going to bring up the Golden Boy thing with that. I think that's what you want to touch on briefly, right?
Well, apparently this was mentioned for Triple G. And and Canelo or something, where they were touted that these guys spoke to those.
Yes. So let me just bring up the subject, and then you can decide to talk on it and leave or whatever. You know, no big deal. Air Helwani broke the news earlier today, saying One Championship Turner Sports reached U.S. broadcasting deal. This will be 24 events to air live on Bleacher Report Live. If you don't know what that is, that's also it's like Bleacher Report's ESPN app. It's their version of that in a way. Turner Media, or Turner Sports, if you do not know, Turner Media as a whole, owns HBO. So that's why there's some interesting sort of, movement here in the parent company of HBO and really what's happening behind the scenes. Obviously, you hope to find out more information as the months go on. This will also feature basically taped events on TNT. TNT is a free-to-air linear TV network. I'm not too happy about tape delay, I'll be honest. I think that's kind of bullshit, but whatever. This is a decent deal. Obviously, it's landmark because it's really the first U.S. deal an Asian MMA promotion has had. Even though I think when we first heard Turner TNT, we expected more, and that's not what we really got here. We got BR Live, Bleacher Report Live. That's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. But on top of that, Mike Coppinger came out right after this news and said Golden Boy had some discussions with Turner before Canelo signed with DAZN. Basically, some have alluded to how there's some sort of disagreement or disruption between HBO and its parent company because of this. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that because I need to know more information about it. But Rob, your thoughts on this, if you have any?
As far as the MMA stuff,
well, I mean, I obviously mentioned Canelo, so you can talk about Canelo.
Yeah, I mean
that's what you said you wanted to talk about.
I'll be honest, I've never heard of the Turner Network or whatever it was.
Well, it's not Turner Network. So, I mean, TNT, I think, stands for like Turner Network Television, but TNT is what the network is called. Have you heard of like TBS?
No.
No?
No.
Damn.
So, Matt, it's been great.
Thank you.
Matt, and your MMA topics.
Suck my balls, you pair of bums.
Oh, don't be salty.
Yeah.
He's deleted.
Later.
Bye, Rob. Have a good one. But yeah, I think it's a good move. It's a good step in the direction for combat sports. Again, just the amount of TV deals, amount of just deals, period, that combat sports properties are getting all across the board is a good sign. The tide is rising for combat sports, and all the boats are rising with it. So I have no issue with this in any really sort of way. Moving on from this, John Jones has been granted a license by the California State Athletic Commission to compete at UFC 232 finally. And they pseudo asked him / demanded that he take additional VADA testing. Interesting. Also, because Thomas Hauser recently, as recently as I think it was yesterday, dropped his newest report. And I would really implore everyone to go read this. It's a very long read. I've just started to delve into it on the comparisons with VADA, USADA. And my one issue with the article that I've seen thus far is the obvious glorification of VADA. And I've been on the show countless times saying that none of these programs and systems are currently set up to be successful. That's just the way it is. And obviously I pushed back that interview with a PD expert a few weeks ago. I'm trying to reschedule that one, especially with this new report. Can't wait to delve into that as well. But again, before we glorify VADA just because USADA isn't necessarily the most transparent and most efficient drug testing company, does not make VADA efficient and a successful drug testing company. That just is not the case. PD regulation still is a faulty system at best, and just because one is marginally better than the other does not make it a successful regulatory body. And we just need to keep an eye out on that. Again, the system itself is the issue, not these individual bodies and entities that we are so quick to sort of champion and criticize. The system itself is the one deserving of criticism. Moving on to our last topic of the day, and we're going to head out of here unless we have callers. 323 870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. If you're international, email me, mixedcombatradio, to get a free international permanent call-in link. John Kavanagh coming out and basically saying that he would have to be convinced to work with Conor McGregor again. Okay. Just odd. His exact words are, and per the Sunday Independent by way of MMAfighting.com, saying, well, he would certainly have to convince me to go again. I love the whole journey we've had, but I need a good why. It might be Diaz again because he promised that fight. It might be a rematch with Khabib. But if it was just, well, they want me to fight that guy, I think I'd say I wish you the best. Kavanagh cited McGregor's young family and the punch that knocked him down as to why he's reluctant, saying he has a wife and 2 kids now. I don't want him taking more hits than he needs to. Khabib hit him with a punch in that fight that he has never been hit with in his career, and even Superman slows down with age. This is odd on a lot of levels. I didn't expect to see a split between John Kavanagh and Conor McGregor, realistically, at any point, let alone like this. It's, again, I really don't have much to say about it in depth because I need to know more about it, and it just seems odd. It just seems out of the blue that Kavanagh wouldn't want to work with Conor McGregor again. Obviously, Conor McGregor did have a teammate that unfortunately passed away due to fighting. I know that really affected that entire team. Maybe that obviously has an underlying, or that is the underlying reason as why John Kavanagh is worried about Conor McGregor just keep fighting. Again, we need to know more about what potentially happened between these two guys, as they seem to be very close, and this seems out of the blue and quite concerning if you are a fan of Conor McGregor. But as I said, that is the last news of the day. We'll be out back tomorrow. We're gonna be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday, so yeah, 1 p.m., 2 p.m. Pacific, somewhere around that time. That'd be 5 or 4 p.m. Eastern. Whichever Rob decides. We're going to preview all of the action coming this weekend. What else? Obviously, we have the Canelo fight coming up. What UFC event do we have coming up? Why do I not remember? Oh, well. I'll remember eventually. That's what tomorrow's show's about. And final thoughts, just to wrap it up. Canelo, man, the Canelo sweepstakes is real. Everyone is vying for that shot, and I do not blame them. Though I definitely am concerned about Triple G coming right back and fighting Canelo in a trilogy fight. I don't think that's a smart move to make for a variety of reasons. But can't wait to see what happens there. ITV, PBC, One Championship, Turner Sports. The list goes on. TV deals are being made. Money's being handed out like candy. Great time to be a fighter. Always can say that. Great time to be a fighter. And also, great time to be a combat sports fan. Content everywhere, all the time, every weekend. And you come here, Mixed Combat Radio, to discuss it, debate it, talk about it, and learn more about the sport. I'm Matt the Hipster Hunter. You can find me at Matt Hunter, MCR, at all platforms. Patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio to help support the channel. Smash the like button, share the show, subscribe, leave that 5-star review on iTunes, and have a great day. Peace.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?